Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another broadcast from me. My name is Deji Yusufu on this Monday morning. I thought that I should share an article that I came across over the weekend. It's written by Festus Adedayo. Um, Before I do that, on Saturday I had an interview with a friend called, I call him GB, Anabu Tolu, and he was talking to us about classical education. And one of the things that he said in that interview was that Nigeria is not Nigeria. Oh, yeah, Nigeria is challenged in the sense that we appear not to know any other type of education besides the progressive type of education that we have. Most of us are taught in that. But classical education is one that helps broadens the child's mind. It helps the child to be able to comprehend the sciences, the arts, and the humanities. So the human mind is opened up. But there was one other point that he emphasized in that lecture. I'm going to publish that video soon, and I hope you get to watch it. One of the things that he said that classical education helps the child to appreciate books. It helps the child to appreciate reading. And unfortunately, the reason, one of the other proof that our education in Nigeria is defective is in the fact that many of us, even though people are very educated or appear to be educated, many people don't get to read. Okay, so I am going to challenge us a bit in this broadcast today, or in this video today, with an article. It's a 2,268 worded article, but it is worth every word of it, and I don't want it to be lost to the text alone, because unfortunately, if it is just in the text, people won't read it. So I'm bringing it out in video. So like I said, it's written by Festus Adedayo. Festus Adedayo is a brilliant writer. He was once he worked with the government of Ajimobi. He was even appointed media assistant to the present Senate President Lawan, but people opposed it because of his critical views. So you're still going to see some of his criticism here. Okay, so let's get straight to the article. The article is titled Toby Amuson Ozua and the history behind the 1.14 billion naira vehicles that was given to Niger Republic. Okay, so it was published in the Cable on the 7th, I believe that's Sunday, 7th of August 2022. That's just yesterday. Okay, here's the article. It reads, and I quote, "To understand the profligacy, indiscretion, and misplaced priorities in the purchase of the $2.7 million worth of 10 luxury vehicles by the Buhari government for neighboring Niger Republic, ostensibly to shore up that country's security at a time when there is excruciating hunger in the land and terrorists are probably a mile away from the Asu Villa seat of government, you have to go way back to the year 1972 or so to the reply of the late president of Niger Republic, Amadou Diori, when asked why Niger supported Nigeria as against secessionist Biafra in the Nigerian Civil War. According to the Diori, as quoted by Temitope Ola in a book titled Nigeria's Assistance to African States, What Are the Benefits? Closed quote. In the International Journal of Development and Sustainability, Nigeria depended on Nigeria for her economic survival. In his direct words, which was written in French, okay, but which means this, it was quoted this, because I can't read French. He wrote French there. It means that when Nigeria sneezes, Nigeria not only catches cold, it is only on admission. Let me take that again. When Nigeria sneezes, Nigeria not only catches a cold, it is already on admission in the hospital. Okay, the article goes on. While government justifies the vehicle purchase as a continuation of Nigeria's national foreign policy, with its central focus on Africa, this has afforded Nigerians the opportunity to dig into the details of the so-called foreign policy. In the process, we found out that, as irresponsibly profligate as the Buhari government's vehicular purchase is at the time of national economic pain at home, profligacy, and irresponsible spending has since independence hallmarked successful Nigerian government's national and foreign policies. This recklessness confronts the flip side of that popular aphorism that though Rome was not built in a day, Rome was also not destroyed in a day as well. Not only didn't the prostrate and lamentable state that Nigeria's not only didn't the prostrate and lamentable state that Nigeria currently finds herself begin today, Buhari, a known defender of his Fulani ethnicity at the expense of Nigeria, was led into taking such an reprehensible action based on a Nigerian governmental pedigree of wastage. Now, what actually drew me to this article was this pedigree of wastage, and I want to read it so that we can appreciate where we're coming from as a people and how we have over the years wasted money as a country. Okay, so this is Festus still writing. According to January 30, 1970 edition of the New York Times, even after a ruinous, brutal, and destructive civil war, Nigeria's economic structure and promise remained almost unscathed. After about $1 billion was spent on prosecuting the needless civil war, Nigeria had been one of the few countries in the world which fought an intra-national war for 3 years without any record of indebtedness. With an economy managed by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, an astute manager of men and resources, Times reported that Nigeria adopted the cash and carry method for our arms and ammunition. Okay. More outstandingly, she didn't have to draw down on her foreign currency reserve, which pre-war stood at $400 million. Oil, discovered just before the war and comfortably padded by a fairly widespread export portfolio of cocoa, groundnut, tin, rubber, timber, and a $30 million or so, which was in the hands of the marketing boards and private firms, kept the economy bubbling, even while the armament of war zoomed in the air. With an oil production capacity which, as Ojukwu declared secession in May 1967, was soaring at 570,000 barrels a day. Nigeria literally didn't touch her oil during the war, so much that by 1968, production had plummeted to 50 barrels a day. This rose to a record 550 barrels a day immediately after the war, with royalties and taxes netting an annual $100 million, and which in 1975 rose to $1 billion from oil companies. Okay, armed with hugely humongous oil wealth, a vast population, and the mantra that Nigeria was in five blocks gathered. And the mantra that a Nigerian was in 5 blocks gathered anywhere in the world, as the street lingo goes, these soon entered Nigeria's head, and the thought that the country could be an African superpower became a near-national ideological obsession. Between 1967 and 1977, federal government revenues were said to have soared by 2,200%. Nigerian economy was so strong that on the 1st of January 1973, the country abandoned its pound sterling currency, a colonial relic, and created a naira currency. Nigeria was managed by an exuberant crop of unaccountable military leaders who had scant leadership and economic training. The height of it was Gowon's infamous statement abroad in 1973 that Nigeria's problem was not money, but how to spend it. The huge oil wealth was soon squashed on the altar of naivety, arrogance, and knavery. Going on foreign junkets became a pastime of the novel, rich military elite and a consumerist pattern driven by an obsession with foreign goods. This grossly contradicted a budding ideology of a people who professed an African superpower. General Gowon, just like Buhari, publicly known for his test for personal corruption, became a breeding pond for blood of the country's sucking sharks dressed in military apparels. The governors began a mania of infrastructure driven more by an opportunistic craving to collect kickbacks from contractors than the need for development. It became so bad in 1975 the Gowon government had placed accumulated order of 20 million tons of cement paid for by Nigeria's buoyant petrodollars. The cost of the mind-boggling cement orders was put at about $2 billion, an amount which was a quarter of Nigeria's oil revenue in 1975. This order was at the time more than the cement capacity of Europe and the USSR combined together. Apapa Wharf was thoroughly overwhelmed, and the shipping lines all over the world scurried to Nigeria to take a bite of the raw, mindless orgy of profligacy. Most of the shipment entered into demurrage in what was infamously dubbed the Cement Armada. It was so bad that when Muritala Muhammad took over from Gowon in a sudden coup and set up a panel to investigate the 12 governors under him, only 2 of them and 2 other ministers were found to be blameless. Okay, so let me just give a commentary here. I heard somewhere that in the 70s, when there was petrodollars everywhere, that Nigeria was so, it was so rich. He's saying here that Nigeria's currency was so powerful it had to change from the pounds to naira. They said Nigerians were forgetting words of naira notes in taxis in London, and of course, anybody that sees a naira that it was so strong, you rush it, So Festus Adedayo continues. The petrodollar El Dorado was so hugely provoked that every rural dweller in Nigerian villages wanted to migrate to the city. Prostitution statistics rose tremendously, as did crime. Girls became willing liaisons to soldiers, in whose hand hid the famous dollars from oil exploration and their civil servants' accomplices. Between 70 and 76, statistics revealed an upsurge in criminal activities due to the craze to take a bite of the petrodollar. An approximate 900% increase in incidences of armed robbery was recorded, with 12,153 reported cases in 1970 alone. This figure soared to 105,859 in 1976. Execution of robbers, codified in federal and state laws, went on the upswing. This capital punishment for armed robbery could, however, not deter the spate of robberies, because the petrodollar gains accruable from the crime outweighed the risk of being caught. It was easy for exuberant military leaders, many of them in their 20s and 30s, some of them were bachelors like General Gowon, the head of state himself, to extend the special control mentality of military psychology into governance. They easily keyed into the African superpower near national ideological obsession and began to spend like Father Christmas in the service of a foreign country. Foreign policy they devised, which was woven around Africa as the centerpiece. The cost to Nigeria was heavy. So the point is that in the 70s, when all this mentality of foreign policy started, Nigeria had money, and we had enough money to dole around, and still talking about that. Thus, in 1972, as reported by Ola, Nigeria signed a pact with Niger Republic to supply her 30,000 kilowatts of electricity, that's 30 megawatts of electricity from the Kainji Dam hydroelectricity, even when local electricity needs were not met. Again in 1974, Nigeria donated millions of naira worth of relief materials to The same Niger when it was ravaged by drought. After the widespread Soweto massacres riot of 1976, Nigeria brought into the country hundreds of Soweto kids and several other South African black youths and offered them scholarship to study in Nigerian universities. I know of this. I was very young. My mom was teaching in Bakori Funtua at present-day Katsina State, and then we had this young South African girls that came into our home. They were my mom's students, and I knew about them. I also knew of some of these South African students who attended ABU then and other universities in Nigeria. First, Adedayo continues. This continued to the end of apartheid. Nigeria also established a South African Relief Fund in 1978, which Nigerians poured about $20 million of their hard-earned money. In June 1976, according to Ola, General Obasanjo presented a check of $250,000 to the Liberation Forces of Rhodesia through Mozambican Foreign Minister One Chisano. In Mauritius, during the OAU summit, quoting General Joe Garba, Ola also reported that on April 25, 1976, Obasanjo handed over to President Somaro Machel of the newly independent state of Mozambique the sum of $1.6 million as development assistance. So apparently, Adedayo is more or less bringing to life what this Ola gentleman wrote in his book about Nigeria's tendency for profligacy. Okay, continue by Adedayo. Nigeria also did this Father Christmas in her negotiation with sale and of a concessory 90-day crude oil to South Africa, Namibia, Ghana, Nigeria, and other African countries. Ghana and Togo owed the country over $30 million from the exercise. The Big Father Christmas also constructed an expressway from Lagos to the outskirts of Cotonou with several millions of dollars while spearheading the integration project of a regional gas pipeline for the sub-regional economic development. Nigeria equally established the Technical Aid Program and created the Trust Fund at AFDB for Africans with a soft loan of $100 million left in the bank to be lent to least developing African countries. In 1989, upon the paralysis of the Beninois government by a burgeoning workers' strike, occasioned by its inability to pay salaries, Nigeria under Babangida offset the salaries while also donating 12,000 tons of petroleum product to that government. The year before, Babangida's Nigeria funded the Ibrahim Babangida School of International Studies in Liberia and donated 7 Nigerian academics to its institutions, while Nigeria constructed the Trans-African Highway and bought over Liberia's debt value of about $30 million. There must have been 1,001 other freeing off of the Nigerian wealth which took place undercover, which are not open to the rest of the world, all in the name of foreign policy. For example, as of 2009, Nigeria has sent about 3,000 troops to Darfur for the AU peacekeeping force. President Obasanjo also sent 5,000 Nigerian soldiers on peacekeeping operations. Also, Nigeria's mediation and conciliation efforts in Angola, Chad, Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, Rwanda, Somalia, Sudan, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Lebanon, and so on. It's deep into the nation's treasure. There have been several arguments from international relations scholars who aver that not being an island unto itself, Nigeria cannot but assist other nations, especially the ones that surround her. This argument is further bolstered by the fact that Nigeria herself receives huge assistance from developed countries of the world. However, Nigeria's foreign policy has been left so much to the whims of the executive arms of the government, which then drives it according to the personal mindset of the head of the government. It is why someone like Buhari will capitalize on this unwholesome pedigree of Nigerian leadership to fritter money abroad in building a road into his Niger ancestral home, spending billions of Nigerian money on the tiny African country, and legitimize it by citing Nigeria's national foreign policy. Okay, so Buhari's ancestral home being Niger is actually not confirmed. All we know is that the man is from Katsina, but he said that it is alleged. Okay, so we could say that it is alleged. President Obasanjo and Babangida, for instance, squandered Nigeria's national wealth so unconscionably during their stay in office on what will appear as a mythical brotherhood relation policy without corresponding benefits accruable to the country. Many of those countries on whom Nigeria squandered her national resources that could have been saved to build a today for her children demonize Nigeria and Nigerians today on account of the social and economic calamities that result partly from such mindless donations and investment in their countries that were made decades ago. Nigerians today face xenophobic attacks from South Africans for whose today we cleaned our treasury yesterday. Almost as if it was perforating the thesis, I've been sermonizing. Okay, so basically, this is just what Festus Adedayo said. Okay, he went on to talk about the successes of Toby Amoson and also the donation by Philip Ozua. The donation by Philip Ozua, on my own account, I've not talked about it, but I think it's a good thing. It's just that I also think that donations to Nigerian institutions or Nigeria having money has never been our problem. So donation to Nigerian institution has never been our problem. It is how it is spent. So all we hear is that the money was donated. I hope that we'll hear subsequently that the money had been used for what it was donated for. But what Festus Adedayo is saying here is that Nigeria has always had a culture. So it's not just donating some money, cars at over bloated prices to Niger Republic. We've always been doing it, and those are the ones that are on record. The ones that are not on record are even more pressing. Okay, one of the things that has attracted me to the candidacy of Peter Obi has been this issue of his frugality. That's what has attracted me to him. His tendency to know how to use resources well, and we must get to that point. I personally do not believe that it is how much a person earns that makes him somebody. It is how he spends what he has. I believe that there are people who earn a lot but don't know how to spend it, and I know that there are people who earn very little and they make a lot out of that little thing. Okay, Nigeria has gotten to the point now that we have put ourselves in a quagmire. So because we have resources going into we're making a lot of money, but we are also resources going into so many things. At the same time, we must find a leadership that can use resources wisely, and I personally think that that's the reason why Peter Obi should be voted in. This is not a video to promote Peter Obi. The Peter Obi thing is just an addition. I just wanted to say that there is something to say in the Festus Adedayo article. I hope you get to read it, and also watch the video that I did with GB, my friend. Okay, thank you for joining me, and God bless. Have a pleasant week ahead of you. God bless you.